Hey, good morning, Bonnie. Good morning, Irene. How are you? Good morning, good morning. It's great to see everyone. Good morning, John. How are you? Good morning. John, I saw you tagged in a post to get Elena Bell one of your hooks for her mask. I hope you can get her a hookup. So those things look those things look simple and cool. I was looking at those. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Morning, Bob Guinan. How are you, sir? Yes, we should all do our hair for 11/11. Absolutely. Good. Good morning, Larry. Great to see you. Should have it by Saturday. Went out today. Awesome. I love to see the network work. That's so awesome. That's very cool. Though holding our mask on with the pigtails was pretty cool too. So, but that's great. Good, nice, very nice. Good morning, Donna. How are you? Irene, I'm thinking about. I don't think I've ever seen you without your hair done. Like other than maybe when you were ill, but we don't speak of that time. So, you know. Good morning, Priscilla. How are you? I hope things are well. Good morning, Gail. Great to see you. Doing good. That's good to hear. Hello, Bonnie. Hello. Good morning, Cecile. Great. Welcome. I hope things are going well. I hope you're going to be able to soak up some sunshine today. I hope there's a little bit of sun. Is there sun around where everybody is? I hope that's true. Different coffee mug this morning. I have to be very careful, don't I, at this point? Right. Yeah, I actually love these coffee mugs. They're well. I'm trying to remember. I won these at an auction. They're really fun. For a benefit for Liberation Institute. Good morning, Fannie Faye Davis. Good morning, Jim Pereira. Sharon Landry's in the house. Hello. Amanda from France. Yay, she's still with us. Good afternoon. Bon chant, as they say over in your side of the world. They probably don't say that. It doesn't sound like that, I'm sure. Good morning, everybody. We in the morning, Sandra Overlock. Great to see you. Yesterday we talked about who we are. Morning, Audrey. Great to see you. We talked about who we are and whose we are. We talked about this whole identity thing. Bonsoir. Very nice. Thank you. That this whole notion that we are not just Andy or Amanda from France or Bob, or we're not these simple people. Our identity is larger than that because we are eternal and do come from someplace, and that we came from someplace and we're here and we're going someplace, and that all of this. Morning, Linda Fernandez. That in all of this we have a higher identity than the one that we are walking around with in this world, and which allows us to have these thoughts that we have and the feelings that we have not dominate us quite so much, because they're just not the fullness of who we are. They're just not. That we're bigger than that, and that the whole of our being is contained in this larger identity. So anyway, that's where we started last day. And so today we're going to talk about, and which dovetails nicely into this, is that I want to talk about change. Because change is the thing that we're all fighting right now, isn't it? The chain, whether we are locked down and we're hunkered down with a couple people, or we're hunkered down alone and we're kind of letting the little devils that are in there just kind of work away on us. Whether we are without work or without our labor. Good morning, Deb Votrin. Great to see you. That regardless of where we are in this thing, things have certainly changed. And so I think I want to talk this morning about change, and I want to talk about it a little bit differently. And today is an action day. Dun dun dun. It actually gives you some things to do today, a way to come at this. That we're not just trying to talk about big area, big ways to think about the world, but I want to invite you into some movement and some things that you can do in this time that are different than what we might think about. So this piece is the end of, this is the 5th chapter of Matthew. It's the end of the Sermon on the Mount. So again, this is Jesus' big punch. This is his big finish to the Sermon on the Mount. There he is, 5,000 people out there in the middle of nowhere, nothing to eat, everybody getting grumpy, nobody can quite hear him well, and there he is. Homework, yes, homework. Some people like homework. And he ends the Sermon on the Mount this way, and this is from the Message translation. So I want to use a different translation. So the beauty of the translations is sometimes you can hear it a little different. You can hear something in there that you hadn't heard before. So it's this: you're familiar with the old written law, love your friend, and it is written, and its unwritten companion, hate your enemy. I'm challenging that. I'm telling you to love your enemies. Let them bring out the best in you, not the worst. When someone gives you a hard time, respond with the energies of prayer, for then you are working out of your true selves, your God-created selves. One might say you're a child of Godness, just a thing. That this is what God does. He gives his best, the sun, the warm, the rain to nourish to everyone, regardless. The good, the bad, the nice, and the nasty. If all you do is love the lovable, do you expect a bonus? Anybody can do that. If you simply say hello to those who greet you, do you expect a medal? Any run-of-the-mill sinner does that. In a word, what I am saying is, grow up. You're kingdom subjects now. Live like it. Live out of your God-created identity. Live generously and graciously towards others, the way God lives towards you. Now that's a finish to a sermon right there. Like that's a bang. But what he's talking about is, when we talk about enemy, like the enemy of our time right now, I honestly believe the enemy of our time right now is not coronavirus, is not the COVID-19. Like that is a thing that we are contending with. What is the enemy right now is the entire change of the world in which we're living, and the change that we're trying to negotiate it. Now the COVID might be the catalyst for that change, but it's the change that is the fact that you can't go the place you want to go when you want to go there. The fact that we can't do the things that we want to do. We can't talk to the people. We can't be face to face. We can't hug people. With like all of these prescriptions that have been come around of this, all of the changes that have come out of that. These changes are our enemy, and I look a little differently at this text. A lot of people say, well, this just means like if somebody, if somebody's being a mean girl to you on the playground, you need to be nice to them back. Like, that's fine advice, and that's all good and stuff, because it's not about changing them, it's about changing us, and that's fine. But I think this is a different sense. This is a different idea, is that we're actually coming to this where we're kind of love these things that afflict us in whatever way they afflict us. And what that really means is loving change in our life. It means loving the changes of our life, loving them, and leaning into change versus going through the whole existence of our being because we're afraid of what might come next, or we're afraid of the things that are shifting. You see, life is change. Life is change. The only thing that is static is death. You want a something that is the same. The only thing that stays the same in the living world is a corpse. It is the only thing that stays the same in the living world. And then the bugs come along and eat it. But it is the only thing. My body, your body, about once every 7 years, every piece of every atom in our bodies changes. You are literally not the person you were 7 years ago physically. You are a different person. So we're constantly in change. We are shedding. This is one of those things you think about when you're in the house for a long time. It's like, they talk about most dust in the house is actually shed skin cells from the people that live there. That's where the generation of most of the dust comes from. And and everybody's going, oh God, I didn't need to know that. And yet all of it, but it is this constant process of change. Everything in biology, everything in nature, everything out there is this constant cycle of change. And yet we frame it as an enemy. And what I want to invite you to in these days is that we might make some shifts that we can do right now, right here, that embrace change as a friend, that embrace change, that love our way into it, that shine the sunlight on the next day. Like, this is what this text is saying, that, God gives us the very best. God gives us the rain. God gives us the sun. God gives us all the things that God, that we're, and that we should be like that. We should shine our very best on the day that we have. Like, and the whole point of this is not about self-improvement. It's not like being better than you could be yesterday. Like, it's not that. Like, that is a lark, and it's a waste of time. There are times where we need to sharpen our saw and all that sort of stuff, but that's not what this is about in the spiritual life. What it's about is about this cultivating this relationship with the creation and with who we are, and with the one who made the creation, and with the reflection that comes through that. It's about deepening a relationship, and you can't have a relationship if you're constantly through the entire existence of your life. So here's what I want to invite you to. These days is that there was a series, and I think the first person to do it that I came across was a woman by the name of Victoria Franzese, and she made a vow that she would do something new that she had never done for 365 days in a row. She would do something new. And she talks about it. I'll post. There's a little tiny article. I'll post it in the comments so that you can read it and see what she did. But that's not really. But I want to invite you to put some newness in your life right now. I don't know about you, but this can very easily begin to turn into Groundhog Day. Even if you're working, even if you're really busy, even if you're all these things that as I've been saying, a lot of the punctuation marks of our lives have been removed, and it can turn into one big run-on sentence really fast. And so that one of the invitations of this is not just trying to survive this change, these changes that we're in the midst of, but it is to embrace them and to shine light on them and to give them rain and to water them and to see what will grow out of them. And the only way to do that is to step into changing. So what Victoria did is she did something different. And this is going to be a harder challenge. I'm not saying you have to do it for a year. I'm just saying do it maybe just today. But pick something you've never done before. A taste you've never experienced. A song you've never sung. A call you've never made, a celebration you've never thought of, whatever it is, like anything. And it might be harder because if you're locked down in four walls, you can't go shake hands with a stranger. Now, the goal is to move towards health and this sort of thing. If you haven't done heroin before, I don't want you to try and start doing heroin. That's probably not the place to start. But I think that there are ways in which we can embrace some of the different things in the world and some of the things that we've never done and the things that we've never experienced, and we can begin to make a friend out of the change. And this might sound like a silly and ridiculous exercise, but I'll suggest to you that when we intentionally step into life and intentionally step into this place, it's this one of the ways that this was a pretty unique translation of the message, but one of these ways that this gets translated is, what do you do that's different than the others? What do you do that's different? Anybody can do that. if you love what is lovable, if you like what you like, and you just keep eating what you like, if you just love what is lovable, well, anybody can do that. And that I think Jesus' invitation to us to live this life is actually not just to love what's lovable, to like what's likable, to love the people that are lovable, and to love the things, but to actually embrace this entire existence. Embrace this entire existence with all of its challenges, with all of it. Maybe it's smallness right now. Maybe it's overwhelmingness. Maybe that with its uncertainty of not knowing where things are going. In all of this, to come to this place where we might, Jesus' words, grow up, where we might actually just step into this sense of knowing that what comes next, we not only can we handle it, but it will within the fabric of it, there will be goodness for us. And maybe not the thing is good, but within surrounding it, coming with it, somewhere in it, there will be goodness that we can find. There will be the rain, and there will be the sun that will make the things of our life grow. So my invitation to you in these days, and she wrote this is the last paragraph of this that I want to read to you, because it's just this sense of like, and she says, as I look back on the year, this is what Victoria writes after spending this year of every day making sure she does something she'd never done before. She says, as I look back on the year, it doesn't matter to me that many of the new things weren't exactly meaningful. What mattered is that I discovered there was an endless number of new things for me to try. It seemed to me an obvious sign that at 50 years old, and when she did it, my life was lush and full of promise. I could continue to grow, stretch my wings, and learn more every day for the rest of my life. I enjoyed the idea of changing my mindset, of making a mental stretch, of getting out of my comfort zone. If nothing else, it gave me a reason to welcome each day as an opportunity to experience the world a little differently, to counteract all that is easy and predictable and is monotonous. To counteract all that is easy and predictable and is monotonous. Friends, if we're lucky, we'll get 90, 100 trips around the sun. This life is finite. It is short, and it is a trip that that is an incredible gift given to each one of us to experience and to know and to enjoy. And it is so easy in these days of lockdown, these days of fear, and all these things to fall into that. Just clinging to what is easy and predictable and monotonous. And my invitation to you is that do something new today that you've never done, and maybe tomorrow too. But that in this time of apartness, we might in our journeying together invite one another to love the enemy. To love the enemy of change, to love the enemy that's upsetting our apple cart, to love the thing that we don't really want to love, so that we might be the children of God that we're called to be, and might embrace all the good gifts that our Father in heaven wants for us. All right, friends, that's my thought for you today. I hope you are well. I pray for each one of you. I go through this list and think about you, and it is great to see your faces and your names as you assemble, and that I am so grateful you are on this journey with us. And so whether you are here right now on live, or I know there's many of you who catch this later in the day, know that shoot us a message. Let us know that you're there. If this is helpful, share it. But that we might journey together. We might be a community. We might be the church right here, right now, together from different places on different continents in different time zones, with different relations. That we might be the church. So hey, good morning, Amy. Glad you made it. So please, in these days ahead, care for yourself, care for one another, and try something new. And embrace the change of the world. All right. See you, gang. I'll catch up with you in the comments.